any sentence. Last answer.
India and China still understand this.
We can hear the sound of the Israeli drones just above us, and there's word that we may have to evacuate.
Petrol bombs are now raining in on these troops over here.
These people are trying to leave the city. They say they're tired of waiting for humanitarian efforts.
As you can see, people are now starting to throw things at them, and they're pushing back against the crowds.
At our core, we're a world news channel, so the pieces have to pass the test that they have a relevance and an interest to a worldwide audience. I will work with news editors and the programme editors to decide what our news agenda should be, what stories we will cover, to discuss how we cover them, what are the elements, what are the live guests, what's the balance between packages and live reports.
The countries that we report on are not always as simple as you might think.
Yemen's anti-terrorism units are trying to send a message to Al-Qaeda, but when the real actions across the mountains of Yemen comes, to what extent can they be efficient?
We want to be in those locations that largely other channels say we can't get our people there, or we can't, afford the resources to have our people spread across the world this way. So we're covering much more of, for example, the developing world.
We have coverage in Latin America, in Africa, in Asia, in parts of the world that no one else has ever been.
I ask them a very simple question. What are they doing inside?
You can hear this woman screaming. She just said, "You're here to save me, you're here to save me." We've definitely found a black jail here.
Right from the start, it was clear that Al Jazeera was going to be different, because we were looking at broadcasting from 4 broadcast centres around the world, that we would have really resources that most other channels can only dream of.
I mean, if you see our newsroom, it's the most diverse newsroom you'll ever find in the news business. We have people from Europe, from Africa, we have Muslims, Americans, we have blacks, whites.
Some people have come from other television stations, some have come from radio, some have come from print. Everyone's come from different countries.
I started my career at ABC News.
I worked at CNN as a freelance news assistant.
I worked at Fox News in Washington.
Before coming to Al Jazeera, I worked for NBC News and the Associated Press.
I started my professional career in London. I was working for a newspaper there.
I worked for Scottish television in Glasgow for 10 years.
Before Al Jazeera, I was at the BBC for 10 years.
I worked for the BBC, CNN, and now Al Jazeera. I joke it's like the ABC of news.
And I just graduated from Syracuse University in magazine journalism and marketing.
Hi, I'm Riz Khan. Please join me in wishing NASA a happy 50th birthday.
I think the most frequent misconception is that it is somehow anti-American. It's not.
It was very controversial because of the perception that it was anti-American.
Al Jazeera has a pattern of playing propaganda over and over and over again.
That was not a uniform view, but it was, I think, the dominant view here. Academics and Middle East experts, I think, were pleased at the Al Jazeera phenomenon.
I've sat with top people in the administration who said to me, Al Jazeera was the darling of the US government for years. The Arabic channel, when it launched in '96, excuse me, was doing what the American government wanted to do itself in the Middle East, which is have democratic news.
That's how our coverage is. No anti-Bush, no anti-America, it's just the news. Cindy Sheehan is a hero in this country, and so is Bush also. That's how America lives. There are the pro-wars, there are the anti-war movement. We have to bring those realities to the Arab world.
When there's an Israeli-Palestinian, Israeli-Arab conflict in the news, quite often I will go into the Al Jazeera studio, one of a number of media outlets. It's very useful to get a different perspective. There's very little coverage of international news in the news cable channels here in the US.
A lot of cable companies like to provide their audience with a great variety of programming, but within the news environment, there isn't that much variety there, I think.
I've got lots of choices on my cable channel, but not many of them. When it comes to news, do I actually want to watch? I'm not getting much opportunity to get international news.
Would you like to see Al Jazeera in the United States?
Yes, I would. I think the more access we have to foreign news reporting in English, the better. I think it's too much to expect that very many Americans are going to learn Arabic, so Al Jazeera English would be a welcome addition.
Even for those who think Al Jazeera has a problematic political agenda, I would still say, let it be aired. Have that debate.